Hey everyone, it's Jim here. Today we're talking about the House GOP proposal for what replaces the historic Investment in Infrastructure and Jobs Act. They're calling it Build America 250. So let's start with the actual meat of it, the authorization and appropriations and grant reforms. Now it comes up to $64 billion for rail programs. Sounds pretty good, right? And the authorized Amtrak numbers are higher than previous years, so that sounds good too, right? Well, not quite. The $64 billion for rail programs really works out to about a 38% decrease from the IIJA. A lot more money than rail was getting before IIJA, so what's my problem? Well, there's not one single dollar of dedicated funding for rail. So what this surface bill really does is it expects appropriations committees to go find around $13 billion a year for rail programs at a time when those appropriators have consistently struggled to get north of $3 billion. Using the past 5 years of appropriations as our guide, expect this bill to work out to a more than 80% cut in rail program funding. So the message, highways and roads, core federal priority. Intercity rail, a state-level vanity project Congress will play along with, but only to a point. Next up, the grant programs, which have done so much to kick off bringing back Civil War-era tunnels and crumbling bridges and buy new rail cars. Here they'd be consolidated. Nothing wrong with that, if you have enough money to keep them all going. But the past 25 years, yes, that long, have shown us that the annual appropriations process is probably more likely to generate an extended government shutdown instead of passing a bill on time. So we're pretty confident when we say, no, there won't be enough money. And then there's Corridor ID, the program created to build a regular pipeline of new routes and expansion plans for passenger rail all over the country. Warts and all, Corridor ID was one of the signature achievements of the IIJA, but nobody ever accused it of moving fast and breaking things. If anything, I've traveled the country hearing complaints from would-be applicants that it's too convoluted, too many gates, too many checkpoints. Build 250's answer to this is to make it even more onerous. Focuses on impacts instead of benefits, directs applicants to consider no build options, and it even permanently closes Corridor ID to any new applicants after 2031. So much for a continuing pipeline of growth and expansion. Can you imagine if the feds even tried to impose those kinds of conditions on building highways? But here, as elsewhere, it's all kind of moot because there won't be enough money to advance even one corridor, let alone the 69 that are already in the pipeline as of today. Now, I gotta say, credit where it's due, there are a few positives here, especially in places where it looks as if committee staff accepted some of the thinking behind our rail passengers blueprint. There's an intercity passenger rail equipment pool provision. That's something we specifically asked for and were the first to circulate as a serious policy proposal on Capitol Hill. But it's a qualified win because a clause permitting third-party maintainers could open the door to non-union labor unless labor protections are tightened. Bill 250 also includes some other things that we've championed, project delivery and streamlining provisions that look directionally consistent with what we've been pushing, pre-award authority, categorical exclusions, advance acquisition, environmental review streamlining, RIF improvements, some flexibility around using grant funds to cover RIF credit risk premiums. Those were all in our blueprint in various guises. But bottom line, Bill 250 includes useful reforms we at Rail Passengers have long supported, including equipment pool authority and project delivery improvements. And we're glad to see that committee staff heard us. But reforms without reliable funding just can't deliver the rail network Americans were promised under the IIJA. Congress should preserve the useful tools in Bill 250 while restoring IIJA-level dedicated funding and protecting Corridor ID. We look forward to working with rail allies on both sides of the aisle to make this better. But Congress should make it crystal clear that the next surface bill must be about building more and better passenger rail and not just managing scarcity more efficiently. See you on the train.